morning, everyone. My name is Carla, and I'm with NFM. Today is November 10th, and we have a guest in here. His name is Jonathan, and he is here to talk to us about Dacor luxury appliances. Hi, Jonathan.
Thank you so much for having us, Carla. So Dacor Luxury Appliances is a brand that, believe it or not, we're actually celebrating our 60th year. So Dacor's been around since 1965.
Wow.
And I know it's a brand that might seem new to some folks, but we've been here and we've been doing some big innovating all around the kitchen space for those 6 decades. So let's talk about some of the Dacor innovations. It's really the backbone of the Dacor kitchen experience. Did you know that Dacor was actually the first company to release a self-cleaning in-wall convection oven?
No, I did not.
That's pretty wild, right?
Yeah,
Think about that. It's like
so helpful for everybody.
Well, yeah. I think back in the when you look back at that time frame, you might be a little bit uncomfortable putting something that's going like 550 degrees in the wall. Dacor did it, and we do it really, really well. So our wall ovens are something that I'm really excited about. And as a matter of fact, I want to start by talking about some of our wall ovens. So let's jump right over here.
And just a quick reminder, guys, we do have a stick pack prize. Please comment on our live, and we will answer your question as soon as we can. And that gives you a chance to win our prize today.
It's a nice one too. I think it's one of our Samsung Bespoke ones. Things like $8.99, something like that.
It's a nice one. I saw
Super nice bag. So stay engaged, ask some questions along the way. We're happy to be a resource for you and tell you all about our products. So let's talk about one of the other foundations of the Dacor brand pillars. So we like to think, we're a brand that designers really love.
Yes.
You look at some of the designs that we have, and we're really designed to blend into a lot of different environments. One of the signature features you're going to see across a lot of Dacor appliances is something we call art hairline stainless steel. So if you look at this particular oven here, you've got these long brush strokes that go across, and you're going to see the same thing on a refrigerator. Now, those long brush strokes, this is kind of unique in the space because as you look around, you might see, in some other places, refrigerators, stainless steel brushing goes one way and the range goes the other way. We wanted to create a sense of harmony.
Yes.
So they all have those really long brush strokes, but it also has a really cool trick up its sleeve. So if you look at this refrigerator here, just for a second, if you look at how those reflections are created, they kind of go up and down. So it blends in with your wood grain. Which is really, really nice. And you're going to see that on every single Dacor appliance. Now, we've got a couple different finishes. We have our stainless steel, then we have graphite, which is a darker stainless steel color that we actually do, we chemically bond the color directly into the metal. So it's not painted. It's a really, really nice surface.
Wow.
So we don't have any on display here, but we do have some color chips. If you swing on by one of the showrooms, they can certainly show you what that looks like. So let's talk about one of the other kitchen innovations that I think it's one of the best things about Dacor ovens, and it's called dual 4-part pure convection. We're getting to the holiday season.
Yes.
A lot of people have to cook various meals. Let's say you've got a sweet potato pie and a casserole that you got to cook at the same time, and luckily enough, they get to go in at the same temperature.
Wow.
Well, you don't want your green bean casserole tasting like sweet potatoes, and you don't want your sweet potatoes tasting like green bean casserole, right? Well, one of the cool things with our dual 4-part pure convection, we have these little filters in the oven. I'm not going to open this one. This is actually hot. We preheated it. We're going to do a quick demo here. So this filter will capture about 80% of airborne particulates. So if you think about, putting 2 different things in the oven, you don't want to have that flavor transfer. This is going to capture a lot of that airborne particulate, and then the element that's in the back of the oven is going to burn off the remainder. Now, one of the things that is kind of misunderstood about convection ovens, we're actually pulling air into the back of the oven and we're pushing it out through the edges. So basically what you're doing is you're creating 2 different air currents that are going like this. So even if you have 2 different items in the oven that have completely different flavor profiles, as you'll see here in just a couple moments, you're going to get 0 flavor transfer. So
wow. So you're telling me that I don't need 4 different ovens to save me time during the holidays.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's amazing.
You can put it all in one spot. So check this out. What we've done here, I've actually prepped a couple things. So we have a loaf of garlic bread, and I know we don't have smell-o-vision, but it's pretty garlicky, I assure you. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this on the bottom rack here. I'm going to open this up. And one of the cool things you'll see about our ovens, we have these glide racks that make it really, really easy to get things in and out. So you'll see how smoothly
Wow.
that opens. So I'm going to put this on the bottom rack here. And then we'll get our chocolate chip cookies here. We're going to put that on the top. And just a second here. We'll put that on the top rack. Push both of those in. And see how smoothly that rolled right in. And we're going to set a timer. We've got it set to 350 degrees. We're going to set a timer for 12 minutes. So at the end of that 12 minutes, keep in mind, these particular chocolate chip cookies, we want them to be chewy and stuff. So when they first come out of the oven, if they look a little underdone, they're not, I assure you. They're going to be delicious. They're going to be chewy. And one of the great things about convection is you'll get those crispy edges with that delicious chewy center. I think that's the texture that most people are looking for in a chocolate chip cookie. So that's going to be in the lower oven. We'll get to some of the other features that you can do in the lower oven in just a few moments. Now, I like to think that this particular oven is like our Swiss Army knife. It can do about 90% of the cooking that you might need to do within your household.
Okay.
I'm a parent of small kids. I've got a 4-year-old and an 18-month-old. And what do kids really, really love? Chicken nuggets, right?
Yes.
So
it saves you so much time.
So much time. So one of the cool things about this particular oven, we have all these different cooking modes. So I'm going to swipe through just a couple of them here. One of my favorites is the healthy fry mode, which is actually an air fryer mode. So if you want to have those crispy air fry styled foods without all the oil, you can use our healthy fry function. So let's say you are doing some frozen chicken nuggets. You can actually select that mode, and it will pop up automatically, give you the option to cook those frozen chicken nuggets. Now, maybe you're a little bit more health conscious and you don't want to do something fried. We also have, because this is a speed oven, it's not just a microwave. It actually has convection built in. And with that convection, there's 56 holes along the top of this oven that are going to push hot air downward. So you're using a combination of that hot air, using a combination of the microwave, and it's actually kind of doing a two-prong attack, if you will. So one of the features that I really love in here is called our auto cook. Now, for myself, I love grilled chicken. Sometimes it's nice to just season it up, chop it up, put it on a salad. It's so versatile. So let's say I wanted to quickly cook some chicken. Well, chicken in a microwave, that doesn't sound like that would be great, right? But this is not a regular microwave. This is a combi oven. So you can actually go to auto cook, select poultry, and let's say we're doing some chicken breast, and we can do a pound and a half. And there you go, 17 minutes. You're going to put it on that top rack. It'll actually tell you exactly where you need to put it. And as long as it's seasoned up, you're going to get a perfectly cooked, juicy chicken breast in just a couple moments.
That is amazing.
So really trying to simplify people's lives. And that's another one of those elements of the Dacor pillars. Think about why Dacor. Design, innovation, but innovations that are purposeful and meaningful. We want to improve our end users' lives by making things a little bit easier for them.
I do have someone asking if Dacor has an app. I have a couple questions lined up for you.
Yeah. So we actually are part of the Samsung SmartThings ecosystem. So if you already have a Samsung device, you don't need to download anything extra. If you have an iOS device, as long as you have that SmartThings app, all of our appliances, they live within that one app. So you don't need to have one app for the fridge and one app for your range or anything like that. It's all in one place. We make it really, really easy. And I'll tell you, one of the great things about this, once you have SmartThings, getting these to connect to your smart home ecosystem is so easy. Once the devices see each other, you'll literally, as I walked into this store on my own personal phone, I got notifications popping up saying, I see a new Dacor fridge. Do you want to add it? Obviously, I'm not going to add it because they're in demo mode, but if we make it that easy, we're trying to make it frictionless so you can have these smart appliances.
Yeah, so you don't spend an hour trying to link everything to that same account. It's all done right there. That's awesome.
And it's a huge benefit too, because if you think about, let's say you're on the other side of the house and you need to preheat the oven, you can actually do that from your phone. Now, there's certain safety steps that are built in. So, if someone had opened the door prior to you turning on the smart function, it's going to shut it off. That way, little Johnny or whatever put a G.I. Joe or something in the oven. You're not going to be able to turn the oven on, with that. But you're going to have some of those smart capabilities. You'll get notifications when something's done. So, we've got our 12-minute timer here that's running with those cookies and that garlic bread. Let's say I'm sitting down. It's football season, right? lose track of time. Maybe it's a red zone play and
Mhm.
you don't want anything to burn. So if you have a Samsung TV, if you have your iOS device, you have your Samsung phone, you're going to get notifications everywhere. Hey,
Wow.
everything that's in the oven is done. Better go pull it out.
See, now my husband doesn't have an excuse of why he didn't get up to pull anything out of the oven.
Right?
I do have somebody else asking, does the double wall oven have a half size top oven or just a full size for both?
So we have two different versions of our double wall oven. So this is considered our combi oven. So this is actually a microwave / convection oven. And then you have a full size oven on the bottom. Now we do also have a double wall oven, which has two full size cavities. So take your pick. You can kind of go either route.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking if the appliances come in any other finishes.
Yes. So one of the finishes that we have is called graphite. And keep the camera there for just a second. I'm going to grab this, this sample here. So graphite is our darker color. Now, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, this is actually something that is, it's not black stainless steel. It's not painted. We actually use a process called electrophoretic deposition. Nobody has to remember that, but it's basically electroplating that color directly into the metal. So you can have those options. If you want to have darker appliances, you can choose either or. So no shortage of options when it comes to making your dream kitchen with Dacor appliances.
They're asking if there's a hood that matches the rest of the appliances.
Absolutely. So we've got hoods in a couple different varieties and colors. And actually, we're going to show you a cool trick with the hoods in just a couple moments when we talk about the ranges. So we've got a really cool feature that I can't wait to share.
Okay. And we are wondering what's this bottom drawer right here and if our oven is self-cleaning.
Yes, and so it is definitely self-cleaning. And one of the cool things, I can't open it right now because we're still cooking. So this particular oven, the bottom oven, there's a lot of different cooking modes. And you may not have seen it when I opened the drawer, but there's a little box here that says reservoir. And it's actually a water reservoir. So this bottom oven has a steam assist function. So let's say you're baking bread, maybe you're doing a roast, you want to make sure that everything stays moist. Or you can even use steam to clean the oven, which is really one of the recommendations that we have. You know, I think a lot of folks, again, you can do the self-cleaning. We're one of the first companies to ever do that. So you have that option if you want to do the high heat self-clean, but having the green clean, use the steam option makes things a lot easier. So it's a really, really cool function. And so down here, this is our warming drawer. So let's say you've prepared, you know, several different dishes. Maybe you got your green bean casserole ready to go. You've got your sweet potato pie, whatever your favorite Thanksgiving staples are. Well, how do you keep them warm all at the same time? Because look, as a home cook, one of the biggest challenges is getting all your dishes to the table at the same time where they're all warm, right? I can't count how many times, you know, one thing cooks faster than I anticipate. And, you know, now we're eating cold vegetables. And it's just, it's not great. So having a warming drawer like this actually makes life a little bit easier. And this warming drawer has 4 different settings. So you can proof dough in there. So if you're a baker, it goes to 100 degrees. Or if you're holding different temperatures, you can do 140 degrees, 167 degrees, or 194 degrees. In fact, one of our trainers she's out on the East Coast. Her name's Bridget. Fantastic. Hey, Bridget, if you're watching. So one of the things that she's actually done in the warming drawer, because it can go up to 194 degrees, she's cooked brisket in there overnight. Wow. She's used it as a slow cooker. Yeah. So pretty versatile piece of equipment to have. So, you know, being able to bake everything, throw it in there, keep it nice and warm. I think this is really a triple threat right here. Yeah, you know, having that speed oven, having a really great convection oven, and then the warming drawer kind of ties it all together. Yes. Now,
slow cooking, air fry, it just saves you more space in your countertop.
Yeah. So one of the other features I actually didn't even touch on is our convection roast, because again, holidays, right? We're going to be roasting turkeys. We're going to be roasting maybe a prime rib, that kind of thing. So there's a feature called pure convection roast. So let's say you're setting something in there at 350 degrees as your target cooking temperature. What the oven is actually going to do is it's going to start at 425. It's going to add an additional 75 degrees, but it only does that for the first 15 minutes, because there's nothing like having that beautifully browned outside, you know, with that perfectly cooked interior. So the oven is going to do some of that work for you. We've got some really cool sensors and things in here, you know, within the different cooking modes. Can't change it right now because we're actually baking. So there's a lot of really cool technology that we've built in here to make sure that anybody who loves to cook is really, really going to love cooking on a Dacor appliance.
That's amazing. Someone is asking if the app shows both of the ovens, like you can control both of the ovens running at the same time on the app. Yeah, that way, if it allows any different temperatures at different times.
So yes, so you can control it. Let's say you're doing the double oven, for example, you could actually set different temperatures. You could set different timers as well. So like if I go into timer here, you can set different timers, but then you also have controls for your upper oven and your lower oven, and you will see them separately within the SmartThings application. So that's a fantastic question.
Also, don't forget to comment on our live, guys, for a chance to win a stick bag. And what was it? It was one of the newer Bespoke.
One of the newer, yeah, Bespoke stick bags, like $8.99.
Yeah,
it's a really great deal.
Do we know the specs for the cutout?
I don't have those offhand, but you can certainly check out nfm.com. We definitely have all of that information on the NFM website.
You can come and find us. We can get you those specs printed out so you can find out if you can get one of these guys in there.
What's our timer at? We got about 1.5 minutes left. Can we get a little bit of a closer shot here? Because I want to highlight something about Dacor ovens. So this is kind of unique. If you look at other ovens in the space, everybody kind of illuminates their oven cavities a little bit differently. One of the things that I love that we do is we actually put LEDs on the door, so you're seeing light basically from the outside in. So you can see both racks at the same time. You don't have to worry about anything blocking your view. You're going to have really, really great lighting on all of our Dacor ovens.
You don't have to get close up to see it. You can see it from a little bit farther out.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
They're asking if you can talk a little bit more about the Dacor warranty.
Yes. So you're going to have a 2-year warranty on all of our ranges, our wall ovens. And then when you jump over to our refrigerators, I don't want to bury the lead. We've got a really great warranty on our refrigerators. We'll talk about that in just a few moments. So we got about 30 seconds left on these cookies. Now, I'm telling you, it smells kind of confusing right now because you can smell the chocolate chip and then you can smell the garlic bread. But I assure you, when we taste these, you're not going to taste the flavor crossover. It's a really, really cool thing that you can do inside of our ovens.
Chocolate cookies for breakfast. That's something that I love.
Well, you know, let's peel back the curtain a little bit. We did a dry run yesterday. I've already had way too many cookies, so we're gonna have to give these to the rest of the staff. I don't think I can look at another chocolate chip cookie. Here we go. Our timer is complete, so we're gonna pull these out, and we're gonna put them actually on the range over there, just to kind of cool off. And that's convenient because we're gonna be talking about this range next. So let's put this one back here. Oh, kind of pull this. And then our garlic bread, which is beautifully toasted. And wouldn't you know it, everything is cooked.
That looks amazing.
Let me shuffle this back a little bit. I'm going to reconfigure some things. I don't want anybody to bump into that and get burnt. So let's close this up.
And we're wondering if the wall oven comes in both gas and electric.
So yes. So it's actually a dual fuel. Well, if you're looking at our ranges, it's dual fuel. If you're looking at the wall ovens, they're all going to be electric. So solely electric on the wall ovens. But if you're looking at the ranges, this is actually one of our dual fuel ranges. So if you're not familiar with dual fuel, it's something that is really, really popular, particularly in commercial environments. And a lot of people that take their cooking very seriously, they want dual fuel. Now, what that means is you have an electric oven, but then you have a gas cooktop. And this is a really, really common combination because what a lot of folks don't realize is electric ovens are actually way more precise than gas ovens. So you get a lot tighter temperature control. So having something like this gives you the best of both worlds. Now, this oven is going to have a lot of the same features that we just talked about on the wall oven. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about the oven. However, this is one of our steam ranges. So this actually has a full steam oven cavity right here. We're going to open this up for just a second. You'll see there's a water reservoir here. So for anybody that needs to do steam cooking, let's say you want to do seafood or you want to make rice, steamed vegetables in there. We have some folks who they put like a dozen eggs in there at a time so they can, I don't want to say hard boiled. I guess at that point they're hard steamed eggs. It's a really convenient thing to be able to do. So this is going to give you a lot of versatility. Now, when you look at the cooktop though, this thing is a beast. So one of the first things that you'll notice is our dual ring burners. Now, we call them simmer sear burners. The reason that we call them that is, if let's say you're cooking something that's a little bit more delicate, or maybe you want to melt some chocolate, it's always different. Sometimes you have to do a double burner. If you don't do it just right, you end up burning the chocolate.
Yes.
So this burner is extremely versatile. You can go all the way down to 750 BTUs, so you can melt chocolate without burning it, or you can go all the way up to 22,000 BTUs. Now, this is really important. That 22,000 is a big number for one big reason. Let's talk about this little attachment here.
I was wondering what it was.
That is a wok ring. We actually include it with every single Dacor gas range. And our wok ring is, when you're cooking with a wok, generally you want to have at least 20,000 BTUs to mimic kind of that pro-commercial type of environment. So you need a lot of power to get that coverage on the bottom of the wok. This burner is going to allow you to have the capability to do that. And having that wok ring, that's huge. I mean, for anybody that cooks a lot of stir fries, you don't have to go out and buy a flat bottom wok or anything like that. You can actually cook in the fashion that you prefer to cook. And it's going to feel like you're cooking on a pro range, because it kind of is, right? Now, I talked about one of the cool features with our hoods just a few moments ago. So as you can see here, this is one of our stainless steel hoods. It does have the Art Hairline stainless steel, just like everything else. So you get that sense of harmony and balance across the entire kitchen with those long brush strokes. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I can't count how many times I turn on my exhaust fan too late. House is already starting to smell like grease, whatever it is I might be cooking. Maybe, I turn around 1 second too long and now I'm burning my French toast, right? You want to get rid of that smell. Now, what you should be doing, if you don't know, do you know how long you're supposed to turn your ventilation on in advance?
No.
15 minutes. That was kind of news to me as well, but 15 minutes, because you got to create the air curtain that actually moves that air. So when you have any type of fumes, they go straight up into that vent. Now, if you do forget, don't worry, we got your back. So we have a really cool feature called Connect On. Now, the second that I turn one of these burners on here, it automatically turns the hood on. So you don't have to worry about remembering to turn on the hood.
And it does it every single time that you're using it?
Every single time.
Oh, that would be amazing. With my short people problems, it would be awesome not having to reach all the way up there.
Now, the other cool thing, you have the manual setting. So if you want to do low, medium, high, you could do that. But here's what's cool about our ventilation hoods too. So let's say you are doing that stir fry. Let's say you have your burner up to 22,000 BTUs. It's probably going to be a lot of heat. It's going to be a lot of smoke, a lot of fumes, right? Well, this actually has a sensor built in too. So it will be able to tell that you have more heat and more stuff going on. And it's automatically going to adjust the speed of the fan to make sure that your house smells nice, that you're getting rid of any of those toxic fumes or anything that might be unsettling. So
that's amazing. What about these parts right here?
Yeah, so these are actually all washable. So if let's say you've been cooking a lot of greasy stuff for a while, and you start to get a little bit of a film on there, you can actually remove these. They are hand washable. You can wipe them right off, reinstall them. Doesn't take very long.
Oh, nice. So you don't have to be replacing them every 6 months. Yeah. It's just something that you can hand wash. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I have Darcy is saying that they have a Dacor cooktop and they love it.
Love to hear that. We love to hear that.
Someone else is asking, what's the difference between a dual fuel or a gas top?
So with dual fuel, again, the oven itself is going to be electric, but then the cooktop is going to be gas. So you're getting two different fuels, electric and gas, at the same time within the same unit. Now, we go beyond just gas too. I don't think we were going to spend a whole lot of time talking about it, but we do also have induction products. So if you happen to be in an area where maybe they aren't building gas into your lines or into your home, we also have the option for some really great induction cooktops and induction ranges as well.
Okay. What about the racks? Are they very heavy duty? Are they easy to clean as well as the burner?
Very, very heavy duty. And so we call them glide racks because, as you saw earlier, they slide right in and out very, very easily. And depending on the size of the oven that you're looking at, in this case, you've got a pretty decent size oven cavity, but we have another version of this that actually can fit a full-size commercial baking sheet. So if you really, really need to have those full-size commercial baking sheets, we do have a 36-inch range and a 48-inch model that will fit those. So this particular one won't, because it has the steam cavity, which takes up a little bit more space, but we do have some options available if that's what some of the
What sizes do we have these available in?
So glad you asked. There's actually a variety of different range sizes. So we have a 30-inch range. We have a couple different 30-inch ranges. We have some 36-inch ranges, and then this is our 48-inch range. Now, one of the things that you'll find across our 36 and 48-inch ranges, they're all going to have 6 burners. However, we do have another model that has 6 burners plus an integrated griddle as well. So nice and spacious. And one of the things that you'll see, the way that our burners, our grates are made, you can slide everything from one side to the other very, very easily. So if you have a large stock pot or anything like that, everything's going to have these continuous grates just to make things a little bit easier for you. No, let me put that back where it was.
What about the normal BTUs of a stove compared to Pro Range from Dacor?
So it's going to vary depending on who manufactures your current range. There's not one particular set, but I can tell you in my previous home, the range that I had topped out at 11,000 BTUs. So it took a long time to boil water. This is literally twice the power on one burner. So that's kind of, I can't speak to what other brands are doing, but I can tell you in my experience, that one particular range, that was my top end, was 11,000 BTUs.
Yeah, 22. Yeah. It will get everything boiled so much faster.
Yeah, and now let's say if you're doing a lot of boiling, you need to have the maximum amount of power. That's where induction comes in as well, because an induction burner, when you have, let's say you're doing this one here, you can actually boost this. And if you turn the boost mode on, it's equivalent to about 34,000 BTUs. So you can boil water real quick on that particular cooktop.
And once again, guys, don't forget to comment on the live for a chance to win our stick vacuum. And it's priced at what, $8.99?
$8.99, yeah.
So if you need one, go ahead and comment.
All right, so now we've cooked. We've got some. By the way, for the staff, once we're done, I know everyone's getting hungry. the cookies are going to be cool enough, I assure you. Just give us a couple moments. All right, so now that we've cooked, you're kind of settling in. Maybe you got to put the leftovers away. Well, where are you going to put them? In your amazing refrigerator. So this is our 7500 series. This is a 42-inch model, and I'm going to open this wide open here. And what is the first thing that you notice about this particular fridge when you open it up?
The LED lights.
The LED lights.
They go all around.
So we call it 3D lighting because you've got 3 different angles that the light is shining right in, and it really just creates a sense of elegance. I think it's a really understated. I don't want to even say underappreciated, but it's one of those features that I think is a standout feature in our refrigerators. Now, the other thing that you'll notice is this is going to have a full stainless steel interior, real stainless steel. This is not plastic that's been painted to look like stainless steel. It is real stainless steel. And the reason that we do that is all about temperature accuracy. Precision cooling is one of the backbones of Dacor's refrigeration products. So if you look at one of our refrigerators, the temperature swing is extremely tight. It's one of the best in the industry. Now, the reason that that's important is because preserving your food is all about making sure that you're holding the right temperature and the right humidity. And this particular refrigerator has a system that we call triple cooling. It actually has 2 different compressors, and it's one of the only ones on the market, this 7500 series, that will have 3 evaporators. Now, you might ask, what does that mean and why is it important? So let's talk about that for just a couple moments. So have you ever had an experience where maybe you put something that has a very prominent scent in your freezer, and then you go to grab some ice cubes and you're like, why do these ice cubes taste like garlic? Right? It's an awful experience. That's usually because the ice maker or the freezer area may not have a sufficient evaporator to kind of keep all of the airflow separate. You may not have the right air filters, that kind of thing. We've got filtration built in. We've got the 3 evaporators. We've got the dual compressors. So you don't have to worry about any of that flavor or odor transfer. But it also allows us to have these really cool areas that we call our fresh zone. So I'm going to go ahead and unlock the fresh zone here. So this is one of them here. So this is a nice wide drawer that you can change the temperature and the humidity to best suit different types of food. So right now it's set to cheese, but we can change it to cold drinks. We can change it to chill or meat. And so let's say, you have a large cheese platter or something like that. This refrigerator gives you plenty of space to put that charcuterie board right inside. Now, one of the things that you mentioned a little bit earlier, with the hoods having to reach up high,
Yes.
how great is it that all of the controls are right here where you don't have to reach up high?
will
I'm
solve all my
6'3", so
issues.
it's not an issue for me.
Well,
But I
thank
think
you.
for some folks, having those controls right there is really, really convenient. Now, not only do we have the fresh zone here, this actually has an extra fresh zone in the freezer. So this
Wow.
drawer right here can be a refrigerator or a freezer.
Really?
Now, the reason this is important, let's say you went to your favorite warehouse club and you loaded up on, I don't know, maybe they had a sale on prime rib or, some T-bone steak, something like that. Well, if you don't freeze that meat properly, if you get a lot of crystallization, it actually breaks down some of the proteins and the muscle fibers, and you get that almost like that freezer burnt type of texture and flavor. It's very off-putting, right? So you're not going to run into that with a Dacor freezer or refrigerator because of our precision cooling. Now, let's say we've gone into the Fresh Zone Plus. We have a couple different settings. So that chill and meat is going to hold that meat at 30 degrees Fahrenheit, so just below freezing, but not totally frozen. We're not bringing it down to 0 degrees where it's rock hard. Now, the reason that that's important is, let's say, you are loading up on those steaks because you're going to be cooking on Sunday, right? You're going to watch the game, have those steaks. You don't want to have to leave them out on the countertop to thaw or anything like that. It's going to hold them at that nice temperature. It keeps the meat texture intact to give you the best experience possible. If you are doing ice cream, one of my favorites is soft freeze. So 23 degrees as opposed to 0 degrees. It's one of the most annoying things in the world when you really want a snack. Maybe the kids are clamoring. They're like, you got that pint of cookies and cream in there, and you have to have a chisel to get it out of there.
Fighting with the ice cream.
Oh, it's the worst, right?
Yes.
So soft freeze is actually going to allow you to keep your ice cream nice and soft, easily scoopable, but still frozen, still have that amazing creamy texture. So we're giving you all those capabilities. And again, so that's part of the reason that we have the triple evaporator dual compressor system. Now, let's talk about that temperature accuracy, right? So preservation is one part of it. Also making sure that you have the ideal textures, that kind of thing. What about peace of mind? How about the best warranty in the industry? A 15-year warranty on these particular units. So you've got 2 years bumper to bumper and all the way up to 15 years parts on that compressor. So it's something that, if folks are looking for a beautiful fridge, something that blends into their environment. Let's go ahead and close these doors up here. Something that blends into their environment. This is panel ready. Now, we have our stainless steel panels here. As we showed a little bit earlier, we also have the ability to do our graphite panels, or if you want to have your own panels as well. You can, go go wild with it. We actually have one in one of our showrooms that almost looks like opal. It's really, really cool. Yeah, we had an artist out in the LA area that created this really, really cool panel. When you walk up, it looks like a piece of art. It doesn't look like a refrigerator.
They blend in so well in the kitchen. I've seen many kitchens where they customize the front of them.
Yeah.
You can customize the fridge, the dishwasher, warming drawers, and later on you can't really find stuff because you don't know which door where it will be at.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions over here.
Sure.
Fingerprints on the stainless steel and our other finish. How is it?
So there's actually a dedicated stainless steel cleaner that you can find at your local store, and we recommend using that with a microfiber cloth. That'll get the fingerprints right off.
That was our next question. What to use to clean it?
Microfiber is usually what we recommend.
What about the fridge? Does it have an alarm if the door is open or if the temperature changes?
It does, and I don't know if maybe you can't hear it on these tiny little microphones. Honestly, we can't even hear it. This refrigerator is so quiet. The compressors that we use, they use our digital inverter technology, which means that they never really completely shut off and kick on, because sometimes, you'll be sitting around and you kind of hear your refrigerator kick on. You hear that,
Yes.
You're not going to hear that on a Dacor fridge. So even though these doors were open for quite some time, it did beep at us. You probably couldn't hear it. It's very, very subtle. And then when we close it up, you're not going to hear that compressor ramp up at all. That compressor is really, really quiet. We like to call it library level quiet.
And the app probably has an option to give you a notification for if you leave the doors open.
Yes, so you'll get a notification there. And the app actually allows you to do a couple things on some of our other models too. So something I didn't touch on yet, let's talk about the ice maker.
Oh, yeah.
So for anybody that wants to be the host with the most, going up to our 42-inch 7500 series. Now, we don't have this hooked up to a water line, so we can't show you the ice. This actually has a dual ice maker. So on one side, you're going to have your traditional crescent-shaped ice. On the other side, you're going to have cocktail ice, which is a much larger ice cube that is going to melt slower. If you go up to our 48-inch model, you'll actually get whiskey ball ice. So you get the spheres, and you can control that in SmartThings. You can do up to 6 of those spheres a day or down to 3. Now, you might ask, why would I only want to do 3 when I can do 6? If you freeze it slower, you actually get clearer ice cubes. So for those that are really worried about presentation, right? Knock it down to 3, you're going to get those clearer ice cubes.
Old fashioned, that's the type of ice that you need.
Absolutely, absolutely. So here you're going to get that option with the cocktail ice. It won't be the spheres, but it's still going to be a nice large ice cube that melts fairly slow.
Slow melting. Okay,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
We have Brandius complimenting the size on the drawers. We have the question again, if there's any other colors available on the Dacor appliances.
Yeah, so just the stainless steel and graphite, but as we mentioned, everything is panel ready as well. So if you want to get something that looks exactly like your current cabinetry, you can 100% do that.
Yes. Again, guys, don't forget to comment on the live for a chance to win our stick bag. Just leave your comment and that just gets you in. That's all you have to do.
So let's talk about, let's say you have something that you want to have it totally blend in, because these, you're going to need a handle, right? But let's say you want to have something that's like almost like a secret door. Let's talk about our column refrigerators, which are right back here. Now, here in this case, we have the handles on, but you can actually use these without handles should you choose. So you have the option of, let's say you have it paneled. We have a feature called push to open. So if I press on it like that, you'll see it pops right open. There's a little piston up there in the corner that pops these doors right open, so you can have something that truly blends into your space. Now, on our column refrigerators, we've got quite a big variety. We've got them as narrow as 18 inches on our freezer side, all the way up to 36 inches on the freezer and refrigerator. So you could literally have two 36-inch freezer and refrigerator right next to each other. That's 6 feet, right? That's 72 inches of cooling between your refrigerator and your freezer. And hey, some folks need that, right? You got a big family, you want to have plenty of space. Our column refrigerators are a great option. Now, some things that you'll notice in our column refrigerators that are a little bit different, right? So you're still going to have that stainless steel cooling, that stainless steel interior, that amazing 3D lighting, but you're also going to have all metal and glass shelving. So it's going to feel a little bit more of a like a luxury touch point with that. You also have our remote view IQ camera. So let's say you're at the store and you're like, oh man, I know I want to make this this stew tonight. Do we still have carrots? Well, you can pull up that SmartThings app, and with just a click, you can see what's inside your fridge, and you can check. Oh yeah, I have plenty of carrots. I don't need to bring another bag home, right? I'm really guilty of that. I have so many things in my fridge that I thought I didn't have that. Bring it home. Now I got too much. So on the freezer side, fairly similar, right? So you're going to have that same stainless steel interior, and you can see, nice, really, really wide drawers here. So you've got plenty of space. You've got, frozen pizzas or anything like that. By the way, even on our 42-inch, those drawers will fit your standard grocery store size frozen pizzas, and you're going to be able to do that in our column freezers as well. So really just beautiful, beautiful pieces of refrigeration equipment.
I hope you guys can see it through the camera, but if you cannot, you need to come in and look at the LED lights on it. It's amazing.
Yeah, kind of feels like you're going into the Matrix.
Yes.
So Yeah, that's just kind of a high level overview of some of the refrigeration stuff. Now, of course, let's say you cooked a beautiful meal, you put the leftovers away. What do you want to do next? You want to kick back, and you know what? We actually have some other refrigeration products like our. We actually have a wine column which will hold up to 100 bottles of wine, and that's actually really, really cool because it's got an even tighter temperature swing than our conventional refrigerators do, because wine's got a couple different enemies, right? So heat, light, humidity, all of those are going to be accounted for because you've got these wooden racks on the inside. Unfortunately, we don't have one to show here, but what we do have is our under counter wine cooler. So it's actually going to be right over here. And I apologize that we didn't even point this one out a little bit earlier here. Sorry to our camera operator here. So this is our under counter wine storage. So this is going to hold up to 41 bottles of wine. So anybody who wants to have that like medium term storage, like you got the 100 bottles for the long term storage, you got your medium term storage in the under counter unit here. But let's say you want short term storage. We're ready. It's the holidays. We spent all day cooking and cleaning, put the leftovers away. It's time to relax. It's time to sit back. It's time to enjoy a little bit of a beverage ourselves. So let's talk about something that I jokingly like to call this kind of our party starter, right? So this is our wine dispenser. This will hold up to 4 bottles of wine. And here's what's great about it. Let's say, maybe you had a birthday or an anniversary. Someone gifted you a really nice bottle of wine, and you don't want to open it and have to go through it, right away. And because, wine starts to oxidize right away. So what's cool about this is once you have a bottle in there, it'll keep it fresh for up to 60 days. And you only pour as much as you need. So you have these 3 different buttons here. So let's say you just wanted to do a little taster pour. Well, you can do a 2-ounce pour with one of these buttons. You want to do a full pour, which is roughly a 5-ounce pour, you can do that. Or if it's been a really long day, maybe it's happy hour, you can do the free pour. You can pour as much as you want. So you've got 3 different options here. It also has 2 different cooling zones. So if you have one side white, you can do the other side red. There's a little divider that you can put in that separates them by about 15 degrees. So you're really only setting one temperature, but the variance on the other side will be about 15 degrees off from whatever the cooling that you set. Now, it's not limited to just wine. Let's say you want to put a nice bottle of spirits in there, tequila, bourbon, something like that. You can actually customize these pours. You can go down to a 1/2-ounce pour or even a 1-ounce pour if you're doing something like that. So,
and you can do all that through the display here, or do you have to go through the app?
No, so it's actually going to be all done through the display itself. So it's really easy to go in and configure all that. But what's nice about it, keeping it fresh for 60 days, that's kind of the big thing for me. My wife and I, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary this year, and someone gifted us a really nice bottle of wine. We still haven't opened it yet, but it's because I don't own one of these yet. And because we want to be able to savor it, right? We want to be able to just like have a splash here, have a splash there. What we're doing is we're actually using argon gas to displace any oxygen that would go into the bottle. So it keeps that wine feeling extremely fresh or tasting extremely fresh, and really just creates a fantastic experience for anybody who's consuming wine.
And is this something that locks as well?
Absolutely. Super important, right?
Yes.
So if you have young adults in your household and you don't want them to, get into that, you actually have a child lock that's built in. And you can actually lock not just the dispenser, but the door itself can be locked. So you can completely shut everything out. You can create your own passcode to make sure that nobody can get into your stuff.
Yes, that's amazing. With anybody with kids in their house or any teens that think they're grown-ups, this is something that will keep them away from there.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions about the size on refrigerators, if we can go back to that.
Absolutely.
They are asking what size we have for fridge, freezer, and if they're both counter depth or regular size.
So these are all going to be built in. We do have one counter depth model that is a 36-inch counter depth. I don't know if we have it on. It's not on display here, but it might be another part of the showroom. So there is an option available. It's going to be a 4-door French door. And one of the cool things about that one actually has a built-in water pitcher as well. So not only do you have the dispenser like you have here, we have a pitcher that's actually mounted in the door, which is nice.
Can you show us a water dispenser on it?
Absolutely. So on this one here, you're going to have your water dispenser on the left side.
Okay.
We kept it nice and low because we want to make sure that everyone can reach it comfortably. You know, that's something that we've seen. You know, in some cases, people are reaching a little bit higher than might be comfortable. So we kept it at a nice, arm's length.
So we're still getting our luxury look, but we're not giving up that water dispenser, that ice maker. We still have both.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're still going to have that nice clean look on the outside. So having the internal water dispenser, and of course, it is filtered as well. Changing the filter is super easy. It's actually mounted on the bottom left of the unit. So just pops right out and pop a new one in. Only takes a couple moments to change that filter out.
And they all have the matching handles. That way you're not having different things here and there.
Now, one of the great things about Dacor appliances, everything uses the same handle. Everything has the same handle design. So you don't have to worry about matching the right SKU to, this particular design versus that design. Everything's going to have the same design. So it's just a matter of matching colors, right? So graphite or stainless steel.
Yes. And for the columns, is that something that I know on these they open a certain way? Can they open a different way as well? Or?
So they're not field reversible. So you have to make sure, depending on how you are configuring it, if you're working with the designer, make sure that, you're speccing it out. You either need a left hinge or a right hinge model. In some cases, let's say, one of the advantages, actually, if we can go back to our columns for just a second here. So one of the advantages that you'll find with Dacor column refrigerators. So if you are pairing two columns together, in some cases, you would need to do what's called a warming kit because they're worried about condensation and things, building up between the two units, and you got to protect the cabinetry. We do such a great job of insulating our units that no warming kit is required. You just have to get this pairing kit to make sure that everything has that nice uniform look, makes it look like it's all one unit. Now, this is a traditional pairing kit. We also have an option to do a triple pairing kit. So let's say you wanted to put a wine column between these. You could absolutely do that as well. So you just need to make sure that you are speccing out the correct hinge direction because they are actually different models. So you'd have a left hinge model and a right hinge model.
And I believe on Dacor's website, you can get some help on that as well, right?
Absolutely.
Kind of guide you the right way to see what it is that you need and how many pieces you can pair and all that stuff. It's a great help for us when we're creating a whole kitchen and doing all that.
It certainly makes it really, really easy.
Yes. But yes, any other questions, guys? I know the last one we answered was if we have a counter depth or a regular size, and we went through that as well. Let me see, what else did we have? If you can tell us a little bit more about the app.
Yeah, so the app is actually, it's SmartThings. So it's not a Dacor dedicated app. SmartThings is, so Dacor is a division of Samsung. Samsung is the owner of SmartThings. So we're all kind of playing within the same playground, as it were, when it comes to smart functions. Now, what's great about that is that there's no special app to download just for Dacor stuff. Everything is in one place. So regardless of what type of device that you're pairing to, let's say it's your range versus your fridge versus your hood, in some cases, you can actually control all of that through the SmartThings application. So we try to simplify everything.
What about the cameras? Do they get any condensation at all?
So we actually have a coating on all of our cameras, so you shouldn't see any type of serious condensation. But if you do, you just wipe it off. But generally speaking, it's very, very rare. You won't see any condensation.
Okay. Does the app help you? Is there any updates on the appliances here and there that you can get on them, or is it just?
It's really just for monitoring and just making sure that you don't have too many carrots or whatever. If you're remote viewing, doing the remote view IQ. So no app updates, or no updates or anything in the hardware itself through SmartThings.
And is that live when you log in or when you open the camera? Is that just live?
So it's not live, and the reason that we do that is we take privacy very seriously. So one of the things that people are concerned about, nobody's really interested in how many times you're going in to sneak a bite of cake late at night.
Nobody needs to know.
Nobody needs to know
go in there.
But what happens is it just takes a snapshot of as soon as you close this door. So you'll see the cameras here. As soon as you close that door. So right now, even if you were connected to SmartThings, you're not going to see me on camera. it doesn't trigger until you close the door, and it just takes one snapshot.
Oh, that's great.
That's it. It
My
takes
kids
one
don't need
snapshot
to
and it
know.
saves it.
I
So-
take my kids to treats all the time, like Cheesecake Factory, and my kids don't need to know that it was me in the middle of the night pulling out the cheesecake at all.
Speaking of the middle of the night, I almost forgot to call this out. So we talked about that 3D lighting.
Mhm.
One of the cool things that our refrigerators do, we actually have an ambient light sensor. So if you are sneaking that late night bite, you don't have to worry about like opening up and being
See,
blinded,
yes.
right? It's going to have that gentle light, which is going to give you a better experience overall.
All right. Looks like we may have. We answered the ones about air fry, the cocktail ice. You gave us all
Yeah.
that. If the wine dispenser preserves the wine, they're asking again if you can give them more information about it.
Yeah. So the way that wine dispenser is going to work is, excuse me. So you're using argon gas to displace any oxygen, right? So wine has a couple different enemies. Some people say 4, some people say 5, but so heat, light, oxygen, vibration, and then you can also argue odor as well. So getting rid of, we're taking all of those factors at play. The biggest one is oxygen. So you hear people say, my wine is getting oxidized. That's usually going to create kind of off-putting tastes, almost gives you that like vinegar taste.
Mhm.
It's not great. You don't want to have wine that tastes like vinegar. So what we're going to do is we're going to pump argon gas into the bottle, and it's going to displace that oxygen, and that's what we're using to actually pressurize the system. So when you're pouring your wine, you're not getting any oxygen into it, and it's going to give you that better experience, just that fresh wine. It's going to feel like you just popped that bottle of wine open every time you have a pour.
That's amazing. Well, Jonathan, you gave us a lot of new information about this, and if you need any more, feel free to stop by NFM, and we can definitely help you. Jonathan's always available for questions for us, so if you need anything and we don't know it, we can definitely reach out to them for information. And our prize, our giveaway, we will announce it once the live ends. Thank you so much for being here, Jonathan. We appreciate it, and thank you guys for being here. See you next time on our NFM Trend Talk.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.